Yeah, what up, people? I think this is my my third time trying to like record this, and by third time I mean like a grouping of attempts. The first two times I tried like maybe 5 times a piece, so we can total that up, but I don't want to because I'd like to keep my self-confidence intact. Today's conversation, and something that I think is super important to me, I've written about it before, is life's loop. And you may not understand what I mean by that, or you may completely understand, but I think life is a constant pattern. One that we can't control, which, may lead into a little bit of anxiety, and that's completely understandable, but life's loop, this constant turning cog, this constant reality that either it comes with this up and down, it comes with this back and forth, and that it is just this circular motion. And the first time that I tried to come out here, I was trying to mention that I was at the top of the loop. I felt amazing. I felt great. But that I needed to give credit to the bottom of the loop. Because if it wasn't for the bottom of the loop, I wouldn't have learned and worked and pushed through that pain in order to, execute in a way where it may give me that feeling that could put me on top of the loop. And what I want to say is that life comes full circle. To bring it back to the loop, life comes full circle. It just feels weird. It doesn't feel like you are truly in control of anything, probably because you're not. Because none of this is in our control. But what I want you to understand is that a big portion of this, and a big portion of the struggle that comes with this, let's say that it is a 50-50. I think it's a lot more than that, depending on how you look at life. But let's say it is a 50-50. This 50% of this time, and this B, this 50% of the time that you are struggling, it is just as important, if not more important. So try not to get so stuck in it. And what I wrote about was that if there's a push and pull, all you feel and all you focus on, and this goes for only certain people, but all you feel and all you focus on is the push. It's not that somebody's going to pull you back up. It's not somebody's going to get you back on your feet, or that you could get back on your feet. It's about the fact that somebody tried to knock you down. A lot of us look around and we see this world and we think that it's not for us, it's coming after us. It's meant to knock us off of this high horse that we sit on. But really, we're not supposed to sit on a high horse because we're not perfect. We are not perfect. And we strive to be perfect, and what we don't realize is that life's imperfections are exactly what makes it so perfect in itself. What makes it so perfect is that we're not perfect, and that we, just like everybody else, are entitled to experience life in its fullest. Not just, embracing the fact that you feel great. Life isn't about just the up. Life is about the things that you learn while you're down, and what you can take with you in order to bring you up, And truly, it does come full circle. It may not be in your control, but what is, What about life is something that you can, take in the palm of your hand and truly just shape it to be everything that you need and want it to be, And it's important to recognize that even if you are at the bottom, even if you feel that you are at the bottom, that you're not stuck there. And the analogy that I used is that, let's say that it is a circle. If it is a circle, when you hit the bottom of that, you are seriously just gaining momentum to take you all the way back up to the top, Because on that curve that you were coming all the way down, as soon as you hit the bottom, you have all the momentum from that up, from that previous up, that's just taking you all the way down. It's like a roller coaster almost. And that's probably what life is. It's a roller coaster. One that you can't control, one that you just have to experience. And it will come full circle. But when you're at the bottom of that circle, realize that you just have to be okay being there for however long you are there. Don't beat yourself up, because then you're the one who's making sure that you're stuck. The more you pile on pressure onto the fact that you don't feel good, the more you are going to feel pressure. And that's probably what all of that is. All of that weight, that feeling, it's because we're applying pressure to ourselves to be better than we are right now. And sometimes you can't do that. And that's acceptable, you know? And that goes back to the question of last episode, episode 9, if I didn't preface that. I hope that that's right and I didn't fuck that up in the middle of an episode, whatever. But that goes back to the question of how much is enough? How much of you can you give before you feel like you're enough? But you are enough, even when you're at the bottom of this loop. And this push and pull, there's not just a push, there's a pull. Somebody is going to pull you back. You are going to pull yourself back, and you will be okay. So just embrace the bottom of the loop or the top of the loop, wherever you're at. And as much as the bottom of the loop is just gaining momentum to swing you back up to the top or whatever, even if you want to embrace that middle level, that mediocrity, because that's what life is about as well. When you're at the top of the loop, it's the same. You're going to fall down. All that momentum took you straight up to the top, and now you are going to go back down the opposite way. When you are all the way up, there's only one way to go, and that's down. When you are all the way down, there's only one way to go, and that's up. But don't be scared. What's the point of life if you're just scared in every moment? You know? And I accomplished this feeling that put me on the top of my loop last time I tried to record this. And that feeling was just, I had this in-depth conversation with my mom, and happy Mother's Day, because I'll probably be posting this on Mother's Day. And it was just about, you know, what was it about? Why am I losing my train of thought? Oh, this conversation that I had with her, it was about me not feeling like enough. But after talking to her and talking about what she was doing, you know, and it reminded me that not only is she going to be okay, but I get all of my, like everything about me basically from her. So we're both going to be okay. And the top of this loop was me thinking and stopping and saying to myself, we're all going to be okay. Even if this world ends tomorrow, we're all okay. It's not in our control, but we're okay. Whatever life is after this, if that's what we're meant for, then that's what we're meant for. And what you have to acknowledge is that, and maybe not everybody believes this, but we are exactly where we need to be. Wherever you are in that loop, wherever you are in that circle, whether it's the top, the bottom, or the left middle or the right middle. East or west, homie, you pick, okay? Wherever you are, that's where you're meant to be. And maybe you don't believe that, but maybe if you try to implement that, try to just put yourself in that headspace, in that energy, and just say, maybe I'm where I need to be. Maybe all this pressure is completely unnecessary. Maybe I'm worried about nothing. Maybe life will come full circle. I will experience everything that I need to experience, including pain and love. And those basically are the 2 points of life. Pain and love. And that's probably the bottom and then the top of the loop. The bottom is the pain. The top is love. The top is the love for life, the love you experience with others, the love you experience for yourself, you know? And pain is that bottom, but pain is the only thing that we can learn off of, you know? You don't experience and gain knowledge and pick yourself up if it was not for the pain that you experienced, you know? And I've learned a lot through pain. I've learned so much through pain, you know? And it's not only painful, but it's a miraculous thing. Once I got to the point where I realized that this life is not against me, it's not trying to do me wrong like we touched on earlier, then I realized that, okay, I can learn from this and I can bounce back. And when I bounce back, it could make me a better person. It could make me a more mature person. It could make me experience things in a way that I haven't before. Because now that people are gone, I'm sitting here, I'm realizing there is more to life. And I have life. And that's important and beautiful. And even the mediocrity, even that middle of the circle, you know, east or west, homie, you pick wherever you're at. Even that is beautiful. Even that pain is beautiful, And I wouldn't experience that pain if it were not for the top of that, which is the fact that I loved the people that I lost, or loved the things that I lost, Goes for whatever. And, yeah, dude. I mean, even the world is a circle. Or a sphere anyways, but all of it is a constant pattern. And it's kind of daunting to look at life and to say, damn, life and all things that are out of my control follow an irregular pattern that I can't really get a grasp on and I can't control, and I'm not the decision maker of where my life is headed, but I'm here for the ride. Yeah, it's a daunting thought. That's why a lot of people give up. They pick their 9 to 5, they pick their, and that's no shame on it. I'm working a 9 to 5. I'm just hoping that at one point, you're listening to me enough where I can, take the next steps. I'm hoping that one day I'm on tour with my music. I hope that one day my merch sells out so much that I'm rolling in money, and not just rolling in money, but rolling in money so that I can then share that with all the people that helped me on my way up, or share that with the people that are struggling, and it'll take a lot when I'm there to get my head out of, hey man, you are the top of the loop. But that's another thing that I need to learn and process through. I think that's why it's taking so long for me to succeed, which feels like the bottom of the loop, because I feel like at this moment in time, I'm not a mature enough person that when I'm at the top of the loop, that I won't do the wrong thing with it. That I won't take advantage of, power that I'm handed, You look at all the people in fucking these biggest named towns like Hollywood or some shit like that, and most of them are horrific people. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to inspire just because I'm purely trying to inspire. But at what point is that a game that's just trying to make me, more palatable for people so that I can then market myself further? At what point is this selfish instead of selfless, And I have to pay attention to that and walk that line, And that may feel like the bottom of the loop to look at myself and to question myself, but that will only take me up to the top of the loop, I'm not saying that I am any of those things, or that's not up to me to decide, but as long as I can stay on my own moral standpoints, then, I think that that's the most important thing. And judgment aside, I can't sit here and judge myself, because I think we all do that enough when we're in the bottom of the loop, And again, that bottom of the loop, it is just momentum to swing you right back up to the top. If it is a circle, it could be a square for all it matters, but as soon as you hit that corner, there's nowhere else to go. You're just going to shoot back over to the other side and then shoot back up, because there's nowhere else to go, unless you just bounce around at the bottom. I don't know. Physics aren't really for me. Is that physics? I don't know. Shapes aren't really for me, I guess. Square peg, round hole kind of person. I'll always do things unorthodox. I'll always try and live my life unorthodox, and I think that's the duality of the life that I live. I think, the duality of it is that I'm always looking for an out of the box idea. So a lot of the time when it doesn't feel like it's succeeding, it feels like I'm so far at the bottom of that loop that this whole life is ending, and I pile that pressure on. So I guess the main points is that life comes full circle. You just won't feel good about it. Life comes full circle. Life comes full circle. It just feels weird. It feels so weird. So strange. What a strange experience that is. To wait for life to set you up. And don't just completely wait. You have to put in that effort, but that life is just this constant, weird, circle, oval-ish shape that has warped insides, and the bottom of it has a little spike in it, but you know, it doesn't feel like much of a high point. You could see through it at that one millisecond, and you say, hey man, I'm gonna be okay, but then you go right back into the idea that you are just not enough, and you are. So what I want you to acknowledge, again, I'm back to the main points of this. The main points of this is that you're never gonna stay where you're at, but everywhere that you're at is beautiful. Whether you're at the top of the bottom of the loop, whatever it is, you are gaining momentum for what life has to offer you. And life comes full circle. It is just so weird, and it's so not in our control. It follows such an irregular pattern that you will never be able to determine what's next. But isn't that what makes life so beautiful? So experience the bottom of the loop. Understand it will change. But also, just be a part of it. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to lay in bed and rot on your phone, rot on your phone. If you need to get up and do work, take that with a grain of salt, because you're probably just applying pressure. But if that's what you need, then you need that. You know what I mean? But also learn how to slow down. Learn how to slow down and experience every moment, you know? Because the more that you slow down when you're at the top of the loop, the better it feels. The more you can prolong that high, you know? But life isn't about chasing highs, so when you're at the bottom of it, stop trying to claw your way up the sides, because it's going to seamlessly take you back there. Just learn what you need from it. Learn what you need and move forward. And move forward, or move in a weird curved irregular pattern, you know? So I love you guys. Thank you. Episode 9. And life's loop. And I hope that you understand what I'm saying. I hope this reaches you at the right time. And you want to argue, I have a comment section. Sorry, that's problematic. Why am I doing that? Worst way to end it. I love you guys. I do. Even if you want to argue, because if you put me at the bottom of the loop, if whatever you say puts me enough in my bag to put me at the bottom of the loop, then you're teaching me something about myself that I need to know. And that's a hard thing to swallow, but that's the truth of the matter. And the other truth of the matter is that really life is constantly the top of the loop. It may not feel like it, but really life is so beautiful that there is nothing compared to just the way that the sun will shine through branches, the way that, you know, the trees will wave back and forth, the way that the wind will hit your face, the way that the sun feels when you are just chilling outside on a hammock or a chair. Nothing is better than that. So life is a constant top of the loop, but if you feel like you're at the bottom of the loop, just know you're gaining momentum. You'll be back, I promise. And I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Peace out. Catch you tomorrow, technically, and I love you guys.